Okay, Luke, so I'm just going to really quickly show you how I would orient you to the Coxa if you were actually in lab with me. There's a couple kind of fun little tricks. It's a little harder to do when you're not actually like holding the Coxa in your hands. And so I can see why you have challenges with this. It's a challenging bone to visualize. But I'm just gonna pull this one up right here. So what we usually would tell students is if you had this bone here, what you would do is you could like put your thumb through the the greater sciatic notch here, and then you would actually like take the bone and then you'd actually put your ear up, and the other thing you can do is you can actually picture how this articulates too, but I forgot, I need to show you this. So I don't know if you know this part. Before I get too far into that, I don't know if you know that this is the pubic symphysis here. It's a cartilaginous joint here. It's the one that stretches during childbirth. And so this part of the pubic ramus right here, you kind of have to know the pubic symphysis here to be able to orient yourself the way I'm going to show you here in just a minute. So let me go back here. Back here. Okay. So what you would do is, yeah, if you could picture putting your thumb in this greater sciatic notch, and the greater sciatic notch is going to be posterior. So it's going to go towards the back. And then what you would do is you would put your ear in the iliac fossa here. And if you could picture, you would put this pubic symphysis up to your mouth. And we always would say you were like talking on a telephone. And then you would say obturator, obturator, instead of operator, operator, obturator, obturator. And that's your obturator foramen. So that was kind of the quick trick to like orient it. It's hard to do when you don't have that bone, but if you can kind of picture like, okay, here's the greater sciatic notch that goes towards the back. You could picture you're putting your ear in the iliac fossa here. So that would mean that this is the anterior end. So that's that anterior superior iliac spine there. And then if you could picture here, you talk here like you were talking into the phone, and then say, obturator, obturator. So that tells you that this portion here, the pubic symphysis, is going to be more anterior. And again, your ischial tuberosity is obviously going to be posterior. So that's kind of the way to like orient yourself a little bit with that bone. Because I think once you can kind of picture it in place, but again, if you could picture putting that bone right up to your ear, I think that's probably the easiest way to orient yourself. And then it makes it really easy to, orient yourself to anterior and posterior. And then of course you can always see that would be where the acetabulum is going to be where the head of the femur is going to articulate with. So yeah, it's just, and once you can orient yourself to anterior posterior, I think that's kind of the easiest. So again, I like this picture to kind of, because you can actually picture putting it up to you. So yeah, then you can go through, and you can even go through, this would be the posterior superior iliac spine, and the inferior, the posterior inferior iliac spine. So that, and then, you got your superior, your anterior superior iliac spine and your anterior inferior iliac spine. So it's hard to know those, right? Unless you know that this is the anterior side and that's the posterior side. So that's why if you can do that greater sciatic notch, you'd have it towards the back where your thumb would be. And then here, this would be where your ear would be. This would be towards the front. You'd be tucking in here. That's the way to kind of orient yourself to where, and you can see that then when you see the articulated pelvis here. So those are my tricks to the trade. Hopefully that's something that you can visualize. And then here again, you can This is a harder picture because you can't really visualize putting it up because it's a lateral view to your ear. So again, just orient yourself with that greater sciatic notch. The greater sciatic notch is on the posterior side, so that's the posterior superior, posterior inferior iliac spine. And then that means that this is the anterior side. So maybe it might be just even easier just to orient off of that greater sciatic notch too. So then you got your anterior superior, anterior inferior. I hope that helps. I tried to keep that to 5 minutes. Let me know if you need more.